Good morning, friends. This is Dolores with Gulf Coast Urban Farm. I'm coming to you today because I had a lot of questions from the video that I shot on the 5 things that I love and the 5 things that I would not can again. And I just wanted to come back and give you a brief rundown because many of the questions was, is this a safe practice recipe? Where can I find the recipe? There were numerous questions along that line, and it would be specific recipes. So what I thought I would do today is, number one, I would tell you, yes, every recipe that I give to you on my videos is going to be considered a safe recipe. I'm just going to break it down to you. I am too scared to be one of those rebels. If USDA website or a ball canning book or some such canning book that is prescribed to safe canning and preserving habits does not tell me it's good to use, then guess what? I'm not using it. I just cannot. That's just me. So, with that being said, let me just say, I hope the lighting's better than it has been. And also, you'll notice I'm in a different room. I'm not in the kitchen. This is my office. So, anyway, let's get started. One of the first questions that came to me was, where do you get your recipes? You say safe canning habits, but where do you get your recipes? So, I'm going to show you my 2 favorite books. Now, these are basically new books. Number one, I haven't been canning for 50 years. I've actually only been canning about 3 or 4 years. But these books are new just for video purposes. And I even had to go in and mark where what I wanted to talk about because, well, if you look at these books, you can tell these books haven't been used, have they? Here's the other one. And what you're seeing, the sticky notes, is where I made my little notes. But these are both ball canning books. This one says the all-new Ball Book of Canning and Preserving. The copyright date is 2016. For most people, they don't consider that new, but it is fairly new when you start thinking about canning and such. I do not remember what the other one's copyright date was. Not even sure I looked, to be honest with you. And I actually think I got this one off of Amazon, maybe. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I purchased this one at Walmart. Now, I'm talking about the original ones, folks. Both of these actually came off of Amazon because we had to get them quickly for me to do this video. So, let's start talking about some of the reasons that I like these books so much. It has a wealth of information in here so that you know that you are using safe practices. It tells you all the steps that you need to use in order to make sure that you are, if you're water bath canning, that you are doing it properly because you are making sure that you are using foods that are high acid. And if they're not high acid, then you want to do pressure canning. This particular book right here also has tips for dehydrating, for in case any of you also dehydrate. I know I do. And I love my hydrator. We have a very good relationship, as well as my pressure canner and my water bath canner. We all have good relationships, and I want to keep it that way. Don't be scared of the pressure canner. If you follow safe practices and you do what the manufacturer of your canner states as the steps that you use and the way you use it, there's nothing to worry about. Don't get in a hurry. Just do what you need to do. That's the best advice I can give you. Now, the most one that I had questions about, which I guess kind of surprised me, but I guess it shouldn't have, is because I made such a big deal of talking about how I couldn't keep it, and and that was the squash, what I called squash pickles. Now, that particular recipe is in this book right here. Now, in this book, it's called Zucchini Pickles. And we all know that zucchini is a squash, right? I mean, zucchini pickles. It's a very simple recipe, very quick to can. You do have to make sure that you follow the rules, though. Get your pressure canner up to where it needs to be, and then cook it for the required amount of time. Now, I'm sure that everybody that is doing this also knows that zucchini can be yellow or green. And I had both yellow and green in mine. So, there you go. Now, I also had someone ask me, was it crunchy like when you do cucumber pickles? Now, I'm going to be honest, I've tried to do cucumber pickles and I've never had much luck. Mine are never crispy. I've tried the grape leaves, I've tried all the little methods that people have come up with telling you to do, and I just can't get them crispy. So, since I don't eat a ton of cucumber pickles, it's probably best for me to either purchase them from the store or just leave them alone. I mean, I do like my cucumbers fresh, so there is that. Although I did have a subscriber who offered to give me her cucumber recipe, which is a refrigerator pickle, and I'm going to get it from her, and I'm going to try that. She said it turns out crunchy every time, so we're going to find out. Now, in this same book, I talked about a chicken soup recipe that I made. Now, this particular recipe right here, this is a chicken vegetable soup, and the USDA site said you could do it raw pack or you could do it cooked. Well, this recipe says do it cooked. And quite frankly, after doing it raw packed, I thought that would be a lot faster. And maybe it was. But it's a total waste of space, in my opinion, because I started out with a full jar of chicken. Well, with the exception of the few vegetables I put in there. I limited the number of vegetables because I do dehydrate and I can throw my vegetables in that way. But I ended up with maybe a half jar of chicken and the rest was liquid. So I know everybody calls raw packed chicken, when you can it, they call it ugly chicken, and they are so correct. It is so ugly, but it's good. It's just you don't get much of it. So, therefore, you have to use 2 jars or can in larger jars. And since it's only me, because my dash hound doesn't get any of my soup, he has his own diet. And I don't want to have a lot of soup sitting around in the refrigerator, so I can in smaller jars. But from now on, so that I will have an extra meal or two, I will be cooking the chicken prior to preparing the jars for canning. Now, there are many, many, many wonderful recipes in here. I've used some, and there are plenty that I have not used, okay? There are some that I'm going to try this year in 2022, and then there are some that, well, I may never try, because if they don't sound appealing to me, then I won't be trying them. But let's talk about the other 2 things. Now, one of the things I said that I couldn't keep enough of, and that's the blueberry lemonade jam. Well, I don't know where I got the word lemonade, because in the Ball book, on page 60, they call it blueberry lemon jam. It's the recipe I used. And it's on page 60. But as you can see, blueberry blueberry lemon jam. I do love that stuff. I just don't eat a whole lot of it. I don't eat breakfast as a general rule. Or if I do, it's a banana, or I'll grab some dehydrated apples and have a handful, because usually that time of morning is when I'm doing most of my work. All right, so one last thing. I actually had some people ask about the dilly beans. So some of these people reached out to me in email, which my email is on my channel. So, and I do appreciate them reaching out to me in whatever method works best for them. But you know how YouTube is. They kind of want you to have X number of comments and all this kind of stuff. So to those of you that posted comments, I really appreciate your support. It really does my heart good. But for the dilly beans, this is what the Ball canning book calls them. Pickled dilled beans. That's in this book right here. Okay? Now, they're also in this book. And in this book, they are called, get ready, same company put this book out now, dilly beans. Dilly beans, which is what we always called it, was dilly beans anyway. All right. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming and talk, and sitting with me and us visiting and having a conversation about safe canning practices and some of the items that I talked about in my other video. If you have any other requests, comments, whatever, please make sure that you post a comment down there under the video. And I just love getting the comments. I love getting that little notification that someone's commented on one of my videos. Maybe that's the teacher in me. I don't know that I told everybody, but I am a retired teacher, and it is really, I'm really loving this, because I feel like I'm maybe teaching a little bit by giving these tips and things. So if you are not a subscriber and this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad you dropped in with us. If you would, please go down below and So hit subscribe and then hit the bell, and you can choose how you receive notifications from me about all the videos that I post. I am posting 3 to 5 times a week, and it's going to be about a multitude of different things. Canning, dehydrating, gardening, those are going to be the largest, but there will be other things. If you are already a subscriber, I thank you from the very bottom of my heart. I appreciate your support, and I hope you keep coming back and watching my videos. All right, guys, y'all have a blessed day, and I hope to see you again in the next video.